It's time for the Jersey Boy movie review. Please like us below or subscribe to our videos. We really appreciate it. Joining me, because I can't do this by myself, because if you may not have noticed, or if you've listened to anything I've ever had to say, I'm pretty much an idiot. So I bring in the big guns from Toronto, Canada, box office, Bonnie. Hey, Bonnie.
Hey, Chuck. How's it going today?
A little bit tired. As you know, I saw Jersey Boys at 12:01 last night, so it's only been just a few hours before, since I've seen this movie. Huge Clint Eastwood fan. And my favorite thing about Clint Eastwood movies is, I don't know, because I'm kind of a geek when it comes to production and so forth, but I love the audio, the sound. Nobody makes a movie that sounds better than Clint Eastwood. He does the score. If you listen to the sound effects, you and I are both in the Broadcast Film Critics Association. If he's even in any category that has anything to do with sound or score, I always vote for him because I'm just a huge fan. I'll get the scores to his movie. And then, but you're the big Broadway fan. Now, did you see this on Broadway, Bonnie?
I did. I actually saw this play 3 times. It was on Broadway, and then it came to Toronto, and I saw it a couple times here. And one of the stars in the film was in the Toronto production. The guy who plays Frankie Valli, the lead, he was on Broadway. He won the Tony Award for this role. So you're looking at an actor who knows this role inside and out. He is so good. His voice is fantastic. He just embodies Frankie Valli. He looks like him. He sounds like him. So, in terms of the casting, I thought Clint did a great job. And by the way, we hadn't mentioned, because Clint is the director of this movie, so people are probably going, why are they talking about Clint Eastwood? But he is actually the director of this film. And Clint has, as you said, a major musical background. So it just made sense for him to take something like this on.
Yeah, and what you said, since this is a story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, how he got his start, we see him back when he was a thug. Well, can you call him a thug, Bonnie? Was he a thug?
You know what? I wouldn't call him a thug at all. He just kind of got mixed up with the wrong crowd a little bit, so he was kind of like their fall boy. They made him do a few things, and in his heart, you knew that he didn't want to do it. He wanted to. Of course, he wanted to hang. He was 16 years old. He was hanging with these older guys. They were part of the mob. But no, I would not call Frankie Valli a thug. There's no way
plus, he could never get in any trouble because Christopher Walken, the mob guy, loved him. The cops would they'd get into trouble. They'd be robbing a safe. They'd be breaking into something, and the cops would all be like, "Hey, Frankie, aren't you supposed to be home?"
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be in bed by 11?
Yeah, I love Christopher Walken in this, and he's great in the movie. But yeah, you get to see how he got his start. And what was his name? Wasn't Frankie Valli? It was Frankie.
His real name, Frank. Oh, you know what? I'm blanking. Carpuccio
really
or something like that. But so not Frankie Valli, right? And then he changed it to Valli, but Valli with a Y. And he met his future wife. She was like the cool chick of the neighborhood, a little bit older than him, whatever. But she said, change it to an I. It's more sophisticated. So she was the one who inevitably got him to change the spelling to Valli. Yeah,
and what I also love is the fact that, because I have all these records on my jukebox, and I love that we get the behind the scenes, like how they got their name. It was from a bowling alley. Spoiler alert! Sorry if you didn't know that. But and then the fact that you get to see I didn't know they were friends, or one of them was hanging out with Joe Pesci when he was nobody.
That's right. Yeah, and later on, was working for him after the fact. It's kind of funny idea, kind of funny. But I have to say, although this movie looked great, and I cannot fault one musical number, I thought the musical numbers were so amazing. As a matter of fact, as soon as I got home, every single Four Seasons hit, I went back and I downloaded them onto my phone just so that I could listen to them again, because you're toe tapping during the film. The music is just so well done, and there's some great scenes. But I just found half of this movie such a snore. I couldn't even. I was like, I had to get it. I was just done. I mean, it was just moving along at a snail's pace. And it wasn't like that when I saw the live version at all. I mean, you've got, people are clapping and singing along. And in this movie, I don't think there was a peep in the audience, and it was a full house that night. So just very strange.
Well, the movie started off really slow, and like I said, I found all that beginning stuff interesting, and it was really slow. But once it started picking up, it was moving along at such a fast pace that I was so into this movie. And then it came to a screeching halt once again. Even though I did find all the stuff about his wife and his family fascinating, and all the money troubles. You wonder, how does somebody who's on top of the world with all these #1 hits, how are they broke? And it's obviously you got to see the movie to find out what happened and what he was doing later on in his career, and he still was owed $1 million. So I found all that fascinating, but it got really, really slow. And I know this is really going to upset you, but my #1 problem with this movie, which I generally liked, was that I did not like the guy's voice. It just I mean, I like Frankie Valli, but it just, like, he was singing, and I was like, I just wasn't into it.
Okay, because I did like the music, and I thought he did a really good job, and he has that the falsetto voice like Frankie has. I have to say, one thing that did bother me, and I guess Clint was trying to get the talking to the audience, like, but breaking that fourth wall when they kept always talking to the camera, and I didn't really think that was necessary. Maybe Clint was trying to make it like a play, that they were talking to the audience.
Was that
bothered me? And the actor who played Tommy, who was the kind of the ringleader of the gang, and he was the mob dude and everything, he really bothered me too. And he bothered me just because he's doing such a good job, and you're not supposed to like him. But for me, it was the actor. Something about it was just rubbing me the wrong way. I don't know why, but that's just how I felt, and he was just creeping me out a bit.
Was that third wall in the play? Because I just assumed it was.
Well, it's just done a little differently. I think you just take it for granted when you're watching a Broadway show. It's a little different. But to me, watching it in a movie, it's like watching, how the TV shows are doing it now, like Modern Family, and everyone's talking to the camera as if they need to talk to us. I don't think it was necessary in this film. I mean, it kind of flowed the narrative of this film, but to me, it could have been done, it didn't really need it. That was my feeling on it.
Well, I'm glad I saw this movie, and I don't know who's all going to go see it, what kind of audience it's going to have. But I wasn't wowed by it. Like I said, most of it bored me, but that middle section was so good. So out of, Bonnie, how many 45 records are you going to give Jersey Boys?
Okay, I'm going to give Jersey Boys 3.5 records, I think, because mainly for me, great story, as you said, it needed to be shortened up a little bit, and some of the stuff needed to be taken out. Although I did find the story really fascinating, and I love the musical scenes. Broadway Bonnie, what can I tell you?
Yeah, well, I love Broadway too when I can get there, but I'm going to have to go a little bit lower for you and only give it. And this is, like, I think the only Clint Eastwood movie I've ever done this. 3 records. That's all I can give it.
Okay.
At your own risk. If you're big, I think the older crowd, people that love Frankie Valli are aware of it. I think they're going to enjoy this movie, but I don't know if I'd go pay full $1 to see it.
Yeah, it's one you can totally enjoy when it comes out on DVD, or when it's going to hit the movie networks, in about 2 months. So, either way, but you're right. It's you got to be so selective these days when you're putting out $15 a ticket. So I agree. I think, I know my parents would probably love it. And another word of just caution, there's a lot of F-bombs, a lot of swearing in this movie. So I would, take caution in taking the kids. I don't think kids would be interested in this at all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But so there you go. Jersey Boys, not fair, but not great. So go see that. And, of course, we'll have more movie reviews for you. And, Bonnie, where can we find some of your amazing celebrity interviews?
Oh, thanks. Well, you can just go to my YouTube channel, just Bonnie Laufer, YouTube. Just look me up, and you can check out all my interviews there. And I have lots more coming as well.
All right, and see you next week for another movie review. So thank you, Bonnie, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay.